Welcome back to Real Estate 101. Today we're going to continue our discussion on mortgage financing and talk a little bit about using equity to renovate your home. And I'm pleased to be joined once again by Tracey Brock of Dominion Lending Centers. Tracey, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Joe. It's great to be back.
All right, Tracey. So I want to start today's show and talk to you a little bit about the market, what's happening out there. As we know, prices are sky high.
Yes.
Seems like a lot of people I talk to, sellers or people thinking about selling, they're almost deciding to stay in their home as opposed to selling their home and finding something else because the market is crazy right now. For the ones that are deciding to do that, how do they tap into their home equity in order to renovate?
In order to renovate, sure. Well, it's true. It's definitely a seller's market, and you kind of have to decide, is it worth selling or is it worth staying in the home you're in? You can get into the equity of your home by either getting a line of credit, you can get a second mortgage, or you can just refinance your home mortgage into something similar, like Scotiabank has a really good STEP program. National Bank has their all-in-one program. Both of those allow you to have a fixed mortgage portion or a variable rate mortgage portion in addition to a line of credit. So it gives you that access to the funds you need as you need them when you're renovating.
All right. So what are some of the things they should consider before deciding to renovate?
Well, they have to consider the time it takes to renovate. Sometimes projects take much longer than you would anticipate they're going to. The discomfort of being in that home while it's being renovated, whether they're going to stay in the home or whether they're renovating to leave the home, and those kind of things. Just the preference of what it is it takes, the money that it's going to cost to renovate the home, a budget.
Right. Okay, so if they do decide to go ahead with the renovation as opposed to selling, how do they tap into the equity in order to do it?
There's many ways. They can do it as a line of credit on their home, like in a second position kind of line of credit.
Right.
They can take out a second mortgage, which is just a strict term mortgage. Or they can refinance the home mortgage altogether into one mortgage. So maybe their mortgage is coming up for renewal or their rate is really high. There's a couple of lenders like Scotiabank and National Bank that have products that are all-in-one products, or in Scotiabank it's called their STEP mortgage. And what it allows them to do is to have a portion of their mortgage in a fixed or variable rate, and then a portion of their mortgage in a line of credit, giving them the access to the line of credit as they need it.
Right.
And it's fully open. You can pay it back at any time.
Right, so you can use it as you want it, pay it back down as you want it.
Yeah, you're only paying interest on the money that you're using, opposed to refinancing the whole mortgage or taking out a term loan to do the renovations.
Okay, so what happens for homeowners that don't have any equity in their home?
So similar to homeowners that are purchasing with realtors that are purchasing like homes that need renovations,
right?
There's programs out there. It's called a renovations plus improvements, or in the purchase world, it's a purchase plus improvements. It's more a familiar term in that sense, but it works the same capacity, and it allows them to do the renovations at the as-is appraised value. You still can only use 80% of the equity in your home, but they do it as is. So if it's a home that's worth $400,000 and the renovations are going to make it worth $450,000, then you get the mortgage for the amount based on $450,000.
The $450,000.
Yeah.
So appraiser has to come in.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So how does this type of mortgage work?
So how it works is an appraiser comes into the home and does a pre-inspection kind of what it is. You have your quotes from your contractors.
Right.
And the contractors say that to renovate your kitchen, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars. And the renovators and the appraiser says, based on this quote, based on what you're going to do, I confirm that when everything's done, the value of your home should be worth, we'll go back to that $450,000 mark, but your value of your home should be $450,000. So once it's done, the mortgage is redone for that amount. The funds are held in trust at the lawyers, and you begin your renovation. So you still need to have equity on hand, or money on, not equity, but money on hand through your credit cards or through your lines of credits or anything like that. To start the project. But in the end, you'd get all your money reimbursed back to you.
Right. So basically you would need the funds available to you up front.
You do need the funds available to you up front, but keeping in mind that you don't necessarily have to have the funds, that you don't necessarily have to use contractors to get the funds. So your quote from your contractor doesn't necessarily have to be truly what you're spending. So, you might just need to buy the builders, or you can negotiate with your contractor and say, listen, I have this mortgage. I can give you $1,000 now, and when you're finished, I'll pay the whole amount. So it's just a matter of negotiations with the contractor or how you're going to proceed with the project.
Right. Okay. So let's say a homeowner has to use their credit cards or whatever to start the project. Why remortgage if you're going to use them anyway?
Well, you have to consider what the rates are typically on credit cards. Most
True.
people's credit card rates are between 9.99 and 11.99. Even a good line of credit is still at that 4.99, 7.99 point.
Right.
A new mortgage on a HELOC, on a home equity line of credit, which is secured on your home, is at 3.2 right now, so prime plus 0.5. So there is a considerable interest difference in that money. And if you're putting $50,000 into your home when everything is said and done, the interest will add up on just continuing to use your line of credit or your other cards to do it. So it just gives you that peace of mind, too, of not having those extra monthly bills as well, right? Because if you're using 4 credit cards to do one renovation, it's much easier to manage payments when it's one line of credit opposed to 4 different credit cards. And it gives the availability of those credit cards again once the project's done.
Okay, so do you have to use a contractor or can this be a DIY project?
It can totally be a do-it-yourself project. You have to have the contractor's quote to give the the funds. You have to be able to say that this person's come in and they say it's going to cost me $10,000 to do my kitchen, $5,000 to do my bathroom. But if you can do the project without them or do part of the project, maybe you do the demolition and cut that cost out of your contractor's bill and then they come in and do everything else, then absolutely. What you just need to do is always keep all of your receipts if you're doing it yourself. So any receipts from Home Depot, any receipts for anything you need receipts for, they don't have to all add up to the total quote, but you have to justify that you've done the things that you had in that quote done. So having those receipts to prove the parts are there is what's going to help you.
Okay, so for somebody that's on the fence about deciding whether to renovate or to sell, how would you or what would you say that would help them decide to renovate as opposed to sell?
Well, I guess what you have to think about is really, it is really subjective to that what they're doing, right? So they have to first of all decide why sell. You know, if they like the neighborhood that they're in, if their kids are going to the school that they need to go to, and the home is just tired, then maybe just a nice, good renovation is going to work for them. If it's not, and they hate their neighborhood, or they're just outgrown their home,
or they need more size,
then maybe they move. A lot of people are buying very small bungalows on huge lots and building up, right? So down, it's all relevant. You have to consider. If you're on the other side, if you sell, there's a lot of soft costs that are involved. So you have to remember, if you're buying up, the land transfer taxes. If you're buying in Toronto, you have 2 land transfer taxes. The cost for the realtor to sell your home. The cost for the lawyer to sell your home and buy your new home. There's a lot of other soft costs that come into play. That
home stagers, home inspectors.
Even if you just think about like the fact that you're going to be moving, you know what I mean? There's cost just involved in the process of moving itself. So you have to just determine why, I guess, you're not liking where you are right now. So if you're not liking the home because it's tired and needs a kitchen, you need a little more space, if you can do it, then maybe the renovation is a better project, and instead of just selling.
Okay, so for those that decide that they want to sell and they want to embark on some sort of renovation project, to help the selling process, what would you say is or gets the best return on investment?
Definitely, you want to start with your kitchen and your bathroom. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because the woman has more of say, but you definitely want to go in and you want to make sure that your kitchen, you're doing your kitchen, the bathroom. Those are the 2 key points that people look at, and then maybe your basement. The flooring, perhaps, like if you have really ratty carpet, maybe you pull it up, give the hardwood underneath a little polish, that kind of stuff. Yep. But obviously, if you need a brand new roof, you got to invest in a brand new roof. If your furnace is 30 years old, you probably want to do that.
Or your windows,
or your windows, you know what I mean. But if the windows are something that could be done in the next 5 to 10 years, then I wouldn't worry about it. If your roof is just starting to look a little bit tattered, then I wouldn't worry about it, because really what people are going to be looking at, they're going to be looking at this beautiful new kitchen with the granite countertops and, oh, isn't it gorgeous? They're not really, it does really come down to, this is their new home, right? So they want it to be beautiful from the start. So if the kitchen is beautiful where everybody spends all of their time whenever you have guests over, then that's going to be something that will be more of a selling feature and more of a return on investment than perhaps doing landscaping on the outside of your home.
True. Right. All right, Tracey. So for viewers and listeners of our show who are contemplating renovating as opposed to selling and want to tap into their home equity, how can they get in touch with you?
They can call me directly at 416-788-6207 or visit my website at traceybrock.ca.
All right, Tracey, great stuff. Thanks for coming on today's show.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure to be here.
So there you have it. If you're looking for a top mortgage broker, get in contact with Tracey Brock of Dominion Lending Centers. Don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, and share our videos. I'm Joe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.